Okay, I'm letting them in now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just going to wait a minute or two to let everybody log on. Wonderful to see faces, see everybody tonight. Thank you for joining us. A little bit of a windy night in Alberta, and everything is melting. Hopefully your street is not flooded. Mine seemed to be a little bit today. All right, just another few seconds. Glass of wine, glass of champagne, cup of coffee, whatever is your favorite beverage. All right, so it looks like we've got everybody logged on. So welcome everyone. Welcome to our Expedia Cruises Thursday night travel talk. Tonight, our special guest is Tom Steer from Holland, America, featuring Europe and Alaska cruises. Everyone on the call is muted. You do have control of your video. We'd love to see your faces. So if you feel comfortable leaving your video on, we'd love to see that. And if there is a chat feature, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will answer them after the presentation. So my name is Lisa Antflick. I'm one of the consultants at Expedia Cruises. Our travel talks are being hosted by the 6 Expedia Cruises locations in the Edmonton area. It has been a long road since March 2020 when the world changed. And if you're on this call, I'm sure you enjoy traveling. Travel fulfills us. That's why we do it. And if you're like me, you've been missing it. At this time, everybody is concerned about safety and health. I think we've had lots of changes, especially in Alberta, and I really do see that we are coming out of this. People are traveling. People have been traveling since last summer, and I really believe that travel, cruise travel is the safest way to travel. I personally just got off a cruise a couple weeks ago. I was tested, I was vaccinated, everybody was tested and vaccinated, and I felt safer on that ship than I do in my local grocery store, because if you know that positivity rate on ships is less than 1%, and positivity rate in Alberta was about 30 to 35% the last few weeks. So truly, cruising is one of the safest ways to travel. In terms of the cruise industry, they are leading the way in stringent health and safety measures. The measures are incorporating testing, vaccination, screening, sanitation, enhanced ventilation, mask wearing, physical distancing, and other public health measures that are facilitating a safe return to cruising. There is a difference between traveling and planning travel. If you feel comfortable planning your cruise right now, we are ready to help. You may not feel comfortable, but planning it is still good. At this time, it's always the right time to travel. And studies have shown that 40% of the pleasure from a cruise comes from planning one. At Expedia, we have had many passengers come back from travel with raving reviews. They were thrilled to get back and can provide. I will say that travel is a little bit more complex. Now more than ever, the professional advice of a travel consultant is needed. And our consultants are here to help you navigate is safe and seamless. When you book with Expedia Cruises, you will receive the following items. You'll get our expertise. There are hundreds of different cruise ships and lines, and our travel consultants can help you narrow down the right one for you. You're never going to pay any less booking directly with the cruise lines, and many times booking with a travel agent will give you a better price. For booking with Expedia Cruises, we have blocked group space on hundreds of sailings, can offer you better pricing, and amenities such as shipboard credits that booking with the cruise lines directly you won't receive. More important nowadays, information regarding passport, visas, and especially the entry requirements and the COVID protocols. We are here to assist you in emergencies. If any problems happen, we've got your back. And we have the ability to plan your entire vacation. We are Expedia Cruises, air, land, and sea vacation. We can take care of every part of your vacation plan. So if you are ready to travel, we are ready to help. And I think over the last couple of years, it's been hard for all of us, and we've been missing travel. And one of the things that has kept me going was thinking about where I was going to go. And the cruise that I just did in the Caribbean was absolutely wonderful. And I had almost forgotten how wonderful it is to smell the ocean and hear the waves. And really, really, I think it is something that we all want to get back to. The bucket lists have now become to-do lists, and I'm sure many of us want to start traveling again. So whatever your dreams are at Expedia Cruises, our consultants can help make them come true. We are committed to finding you the best value of your travel dollars. Best of all, we are local, we are in your neighborhoods, and we are here to help. So sit back and relax, and let's start exploring the world. Let's start looking at Europe and Alaska, two huge destinations that many of us want to go to. And so I now will turn it over to our special guest, Tom Steer from Holland, America. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Thank you for that awesome introduction. I am very pleased to be part of that club, that exclusive group of folks who have been out there on a ship, just like yourself. And I second everything you say. That moment when you're on the ship, that first day at sea, and you smell the ocean again, it just triggers that feeling that you haven't had for 2 years, just walking back up that gangway. So just to feel it and have that experience again, it's when the penny drops and you think, oh yes, this was here for me before, and it's here for me again. So and we'll talk about lots of those experiences, but thank you for the introduction. And as you mentioned, we'll be talking about Europe and Alaska this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So in about 2 seconds, you should see a picture of the Westerdam. Are you able to see that? You guys can see that? Fantastic. Okay. So lots of things to talk about. I'm going to talk about Alaska. I'm going to talk about Europe. Can talk a little bit about what's been happening on board lately, some new concepts, new ideas, some cool itineraries. But before I do that, I think it's best to address the biggest question and the elephant in the room, and that is, what is cruising like now? We've returned to service. What's cruising like? What has changed? What is changing? What are the protocols? So I'm going to address that. And before I do that, I would like to kind of start by saying we have come a long way. Just in the past year, it is incredible, and that is thanks to everyone, all of us in all of our different kind of areas where we kind of all come together and make this wonderful thing we call the cruise industry. Whether you're a cruiser, whether you're a travel advisor, whether you work for a cruise line, whether you're a crew member, you work for a company that supplies the cruise industry, everyone coming together to make this happen. It is incredible, because a year ago it did seem like almost like a bit of a pipe dream, but we're back. We've been back now for over 6 months, believe it or not. We're around about 6 months. We have 6 ships that have re-entered service. So this is incredible. And they are sailing day in, day out without any issue. So we are so proud of our crew members that have been able to stick with us and kind of hang on for that kind of year, 18 months or so, and now they're back on board. And we look forward to having the rest of the ship fully operational by May. So 2 more ships coming online in April, the final 3 in May, and then the full fleet of DAM ships is back, which is something we can all be proud of. So with that, let me kind of dive into the nuts and bolts of what's happening, what's going on board. So as you're probably aware, we work closely with the CDC, the WHO, maritime authorities, port authorities, and we're doing that on a kind of hourly basis, developing these protocols, adjusting protocols. So I'm gonna talk about those protocols and how they apply now, and I'm also going to share them with you through my own experience of being on board very recently, because I, as I mentioned, just like Lisa, have been out on board ship recently. once in December, and then also at the end of November. So I experienced experienced sailing under these protocols and working to these protocols as a guest. I wasn't embarking as a employee, crew member, part of a shoreside team. I was embarking as a guest. So everything I went through is that exactly how you would be embarking as a guest. So hopefully you'll find my experience somewhat useful to kind of give color to these protocols. So first off, a great thing to have is what we call our Navigator app. You might have heard me mention this before if you've been on some of the previous sessions. The Navigator app is the Holland America app on your smartphone, Samsung, Apple, your iPad, and it isn't mandatory. If you don't have it, there is a kind of a workaround, but it really is helpful. If you do have it, have a device, download that app, because a lot of the pre-cruise paperwork, vaccine attestation, the cruise contract, risk acknowledgement, these kind of things, health questionnaire, the typical standard paperwork you fill out, that can all be done at the touch of a button. And once you get on board, it is a really useful tool. And it's also how you do your touchless boarding pass. Once you have your check-in done, your pre-cruise check-in, I should say, you've got then your touchless boarding pass on your phone, and using that in conjunction with our facial recognition technology, you're on the ship very, very quickly. As I say, I embarked as a guest. I was on Koningsdam and also Nieuw-Statendam, on Rotterdam, excuse me, and Koningsdam. And in each case, from the moment of arriving at the terminal, then going through checking to get into my stateroom, was no longer than 15 minutes each time. The process is seamless, and it really helps if you've got that touchless boarding pass on your phone. So the Navigator app will help you there. Then currently, and I do have to preface this by saying these are the current protocols that we're observing sailing out of the US, because currently we've got sailings down to Mexico, out to Hawaii from the US, we've got the Caribbean, and so these are the protocols we're currently following. So first off, we do need proof of vaccination. Now, you don't need to worry about boosters. This is vaccination, 2 doses or 2 mixed doses of approved vaccines. So your Alberta card, vaccine card on your phone will be that's a document you can use. You don't have to print it out. Basically, when you're in the terminal, the check-in staff will just take a look at the document on your phone. That's all you need to do. But you can print it out if you prefer to have a physical copy. But it does help to have all this on the phone. If you've got your touchless boarding pass and you've got your proof of vaccine on your phone, there are two less things you have to worry about searching around in your bag for. The other thing you need is that currently you'll need that negative test result, antigen test. It's required 2 days to be done 2 days prior to embarkation. When I sailed recently, I had it done at the airport before I flew. And for that, I would say speak with your Expedia Cruises consultant. They will be able to walk you through your various options and give you some ideas and the best way to do it. So that's kind of an idea of what you need now currently to get on board ship. And again, going back to what we said at the start, once you're on board ship and you have that moment of that where you suddenly feel that release and that joy of being back on board a ship, this small amount of admin you had to do to get there just drops away and pales in comparison to the experience you're having. So just a few boxes to check essentially. Once you're on board ship, masks, our favorite word, the M word. We are wearing these on board. So we're wearing masks on board currently. We're not saying we're wearing masks on board till end of February or end of March. We're just keeping it simple right now, saying you wear masks on board ship until we say otherwise. So that is essentially in public spaces, corridors, elevators. Once you're out on the open decks, unless there's a big crowd in one space, which there never is on the Holland America ship because we keep the numbers down. We have lots of open deck space. So when you're out, when you're on the open deck, masked off, when you're eating or drinking breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee, tea, cookies, ice cream, wine, beer, cocktails, all of the above, that takes up a good portion of the day, right? When you're on a cruise. So when you're doing any of that stuff, you don't need to have your mask on. So when I was on board, I didn't really feel it made it it wasn't really it didn't impede me in any way. It kind of pretty much felt like the kind of life we're used to, really. And most of the time, I wasn't wearing the mask unless walking through those public areas. So shoreside experiences. This is an interesting kind of area because it's a question I get a lot. There is, I think, some not confusion around this, but I think some cruisers assumed when we were returning to cruising that you couldn't get off ship on your own. You could only do a Holland America or a shore excursion with the cruise line they're sailing. But that actually isn't the case. We allow you to go ashore as you choose. You go ashore independently yourself, book your own separate third-party shore excursion. That's fine. We only ask that you follow the rules and any guidelines or rules that are implemented by that local authority. So when in Rome, do as the Romans, or when in Juneau, do as the Junoans. If a coffee shop says put on a mask, you put on a mask. Although we obviously recommend Holland America shore excursions because they're tried and trusted operators that are vetted by us. So you can go ashore as you wish. However, there is a second caveat. As well as following the local rules, we also ask that we also ask you to follow those local rules. The other caveat is that there is a short list of ports, and it's a list that could grow, it's a list that could shrink at any point in time, and that is a list of ports where you do have to take a Holland America shore excursion to go ashore. They're ports that have communicated to us that they will only allow folks ashore if they're on a shore excursion with the cruise line. It's a very short list. It's probably about 8, 9, 10 ports currently. So very few ports or very few itineraries are impacted by this, but it's good to know that potentially an itinerary you select could potentially have one of those ports on it. If that happened after you booked, we would send a notification just to let you know, FYI, in that particular port, you will have to take a Holland America shore excursion. There's a good probability your cruise that you're booked on doesn't have a port where that is the case. So just an FYI that you may see that happen. So otherwise, yeah, I think we've gone through this before when I was with you last a few months ago, but we've updated a lot of the other aspects of the kind of ventilation on board, sanitation. The medical care is award-winning. We've had an award-winning medical facility for many, many years, so that there's no change there. Disembarkation test. This is very important for Canadians, and we give those PCR tests complimentary in the terminal at the point when you have gone through immigration. So that's done in the terminal, complimentary, and you get the results in 60 minutes. So if you have a flight, you're flying home at say 12 noon or 2 p.m. and you're off the ship at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., you'll have the results in hand by 9 a.m. so you can fill out your ArriveCAN app and head off to the airport. So we offer those tests to you. So if you have questions on this, feel free to put it in the chat. One thing I do have to say is these protocols only apply to the current sailings out of the US. If you're looking at sailing out of Vancouver, out of the West Coast, you're looking at sailing in Europe, we have not released the updated guidelines and protocols for those sailings yet. Watch this space. Your Expedia Cruises consultant will have those to hand very soon. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we'll have information on that to share with you. My sense is, for the most part, these will look very, very similar. There might just be a few updates and a few changes that we make sailing out of those other parts of the world. So before we move into all that good stuff, I just want to mention this because it's kind of really part and parcel of what I just mentioned. As an assurance on the COVID side, you still have that flexibility up to 30 days on any cruise that you're taking this summer. So if you're on a cruise and it departs by September 30th, you can cancel up to 30 days prior. You get an FCC. Even in that last 30 days, if you for some reason had a positive test and you had to cancel, we give you the full FCC. If there was an interruption because of a positive test, we have extra provisions and assurances for you. So we have you covered in that way. It doesn't replace the kind of the insurance or cancellation protection you may want to consider purchasing, but it definitely does give you a really good base level of an assurance there as well. So, and the Navigator app, I mentioned this at the beginning in terms of the kind of serious stuff, checking off all those documents at the beginning. There's also a lot of real kind of fun stuff you can do with this. And that's why I encourage you to download it. If you're sitting at home thinking about your next cruise, just go on the App Store or the Google Play Store, or sorry, excuse me, Samsung Play, is it Google? I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, where you get your apps on Android phones, then you can download the Navigator app. I'm not advocating being hitched to technology while you walk around on the cruise. I like to do a digital detox for sure. I don't need to be looking at my phone all day if I'm on a cruise, looking at those beautiful sunsets and so forth. But I will need my phone to take a picture of it so that I still have my phone in my pocket. And I'm sure you do too. So you've got your phone on you. If you've got the Navigator app, you don't need to log into to actually go online. Navigator app is always there for you. You can do some really cool stuff. You can select a dining time, make an adjustment to your dining time. You can scan through the daily program to 3 or 4 days ahead in your cruise, look at the different shows that are happening that night, see what times they are, and decide on which restaurant you want to eat in that night based on the show times, and make a reservation for 3 or 4 days time based on the show that you know is happening that night. So you can really plan ahead like you would on land. You know what's coming up, you know. So that's super handy. Also, if you're coming back from a shore excursion at a certain time, you can have pre-ordered your pizza ready to pick up, freshly made pizza ready to pick up at the certain time you come back from the shore excursion on your phone, on the Navigator app. So super handy. That's why I recommend downloading it. Okay, let's get into some good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening on board. And I've shared some of these slides before, and I will just, again, for those of you who are less familiar with Holland America, you've heard me say it, most of you, that we are for explorers, foodies, and music lovers. They're the 3 pillars of Holland America. I'll explain why in just a second. We've recently had an 11th ship join the fleet, our new flagship, and she continues the tradition and continues to take Holland America forward, still holding true to these pillars. For the fact we're about the destinations, we're about the culinary, and we're about that great live music on board. And the ship size hasn't changed. We're still committed to those perfectly sized ships, those what used to be called mid-sized. We're that true mid-size. Our ships are smaller than most lines that would call themselves mid-size. A lot of mid-sized cruise lines have 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 guests. We don't have that. Our average guest count is 2,000. So our ships are spacious, have that classic feel, that very cool, chic, classic nautical feel. You know you're on a real ship. Our ships feel like ships. That sounds like a dumb thing to say, but our ships feel like ships. You know what I mean if you've been on a Holland America ship. So I'll touch on the experience in just a second. One thing I would like to say is we see more and more folks coming to us from all parts of kind of the cruise world. Those folks who have only sailed on very small ships, those folks who have only sailed on kind of mega ships, they're coming for different reasons. They're coming kind of meeting in the middle on Holland America because we offer the space. So folks who have only been sailing on small ships, now they get more space, more variety on board. Folks who have only been on mega ships with all those crowds and roller coasters, it's more touches of luxury, more of a personalized service, you know, more of a variety with culinary in each venue rather than having 20 different venues. So folks find us from across kind of the spectrum when it comes to cruising. We have itineraries for, you know, on the longer side, for, kind of a romantic getaway. We have the shorter ones for the family groups, kind of girls getaway. Right across the board, we find ourselves in a very fortunate position right now, and it's by design. We've been working towards this style of experience for a long time, and it's really been resonating. We see more and more folks find Holland America. So hopefully you will too, if you haven't sailed with us before. So I mentioned the word explorers. This is because we have the experience. We've been doing it for a long time, 150 years, sailing the seven seas. We have a depth and breadth when it comes to sheer number of ports and sheer number of itineraries that is unmatched out there. So we can provide a level of destination expertise and immersion that is not very common. For foodies, we offer that kind of perfect number of alternate specialty venues. We're not making things difficult for you by saying you only have the same dining room every night with the same menu, and if you want something different, you have to choose to pay from 20, pay to eat in 20 different alternate dining venues. With us, it is the classic dining room experience. Whether you choose the fixed seating, whether you choose the open seating, it's the Holland America classic dining room experience with different menus every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Those menus are fresh and interesting and new every day. They're overseen by our culinary council. We don't have one celebrity chef. We don't have one TV chef's name in neon lights, and that's the way we talk about our culinary. It goes deeper with us. It's not as thin, way deeper. We've got Michelin star restaurant owners, proprietors, authors, TV chefs. At the same time, we have experts, our 6 culinary council members and our culinary council, head of our culinary council, have that experience that goes across the board, that helps keep those menus fresh and exciting. And it is nice for those folks who have come from the small ships only, where there's only one restaurant and then maybe one alternate, one casual option. It's great for them to have a few more options on board. I'm going to share some shots of some of those dining rooms in just a second from my experience. And don't forget, with us, food is a big part ashore with our culinary food and wine excursions in Europe, in Alaska, wherever we sail. So music, I will mention this again. A lot of you have heard me talk about this before, but it really goes. I should say it's something that I guess if you, behind closed doors, took a few kind of cruise industry executives and kind of entertainment directors across the board from all different cruise lines, big and small, and you talk to them about Holland America and what Holland America did with the music program and what we call Music Walk, they would probably shrug and say, yep, they really shook things up. They did it, and it's widely known now. We took quite a risk and changed how music's delivered on board cruise ships, and it really paid off. And I was just on board seeing it with my own eyes again for the first time in 18 months, and it is fantastic to see our venues in full swing. So Music Walk consists of BB King Blues Club. The BB King's Blues Club band is usually an 8-piece band, and it's music that gets the blood pumping or the toes tapping. They're highly experienced artists who are experts in their craft, who have come through Beale Street, Memphis, and they are playing, everything through Motown, right through up to Bruno Mars and back to Chuck Berry and beyond. Anything that gets the crowd on their feet. And so I was on board, like I say, recently, and it was just awesome seeing everyone up, being on that dance floor, whether you're on the dance floor or on in the BB King's Blues Club itself, just tapping your feet. It's just an awesome experience. Then Lincoln Center, that's our classical ensemble from Lincoln Center in New York. They play in the same venue actually as BB King's Blues Club, but early in the evening. That becomes Lincoln Center early in the evening. Billboard on Board. This is where we changed that whole sardine tin piano bar concept that has been around in the cruise industry or in the kind of cruising world for a number of years, where there's the piano bar over there in the corner. It's packed. So how do you get a seat? You got to kind of be staking out your spot early in the evening every night. We open it up so it can be enjoyed by folks who want to be piano side or want to sit in the corner, want to sing along, or want to just relax and observe. And it's two piano entertainers, so they're riffing off one another. More styles, they can take more requests. It's a lot of fun. And then Rolling Stone Rock Room, which is on our Pinnacle class ships. I'll touch on that in a second. I want to move on. And the other part of Holland America is our service. The service is down to our crew members. And can I just say, this is something Lisa most probably experienced when she was out on board recently. And this is something that it really hit me, and it stayed with me. Like I mentioned, the service is really down to our crew members on board that win hearts and mind every day. And these crew members they've had to go home not knowing when they could come back, when a ship would sail again, for a year or more, 18 months. And to step foot on board ship for the first time, to walk up that gangway and be greeted by smiling crew members, waving, welcoming you on board, it brings a tear to the eye. You'd have to be made of stone not to feel that emotion. It is incredible. So I know you probably have questions about other questions about what it's like on board right now, but that moment is priceless. And when you have it, you'll know exactly what I mean. So let's talk about the ships quickly and where they're going. So 11 damn ships, now with Rotterdam as the flagship. She's sailing. Last time I spoke with you and was on one of our Zoom chats, she had not set sail yet. Now she is sailing, and she is stunning. 99,000 tons. She's not 100,000 tons. So that means she could fit 2.5 times over into the Symphony in the Seas, one of those mega ships that are out there. So she is much smaller. So still within that kind of Holland America kind of size and swim lane. We don't build mega ships. So but she is truly beautiful. The stateroom's very fresh and airy, that lovely soft palette. And last time I was with you, I was sharing, when I talked about Rotterdam, I think probably maybe 6 months ago or more, I had to show you some computer renderings. I've been on board now. I've taken photos. Take a look at some of these areas. This is the top left-hand side. That's the crow's nest, and a side area of the crow's nest that we now have games. Awesome selection of board games and games. Really cool little space that I thought looked really cool. We now have an additional bar. It's the oh, excuse me, my phone is ringing here. So there we go. Hopefully you can still hear me. My phone started ringing through my speaker. This is the Half Moon Bar. The Half Moon Bar is it's kind of a nod to the Holland America's history and cocktails that were featured along the way with Holland America ships over the last 150 years. It's really cool. Then you've got the world stage, which is our amphitheater style kind of showroom. The classic crow's nest, the dining room, the open, fresh, spacious dining room. So she's classic Holland America. That's me on board for the first time, getting very excited, doing jumping jacks up there on deck 12. Sorry, I'm cut out again. My phone was ringing again. And right here you have BB King's Blues Club in action. So onto the next slide here. Notes Scotch tasting bar, the Retreat cabanas, that beautiful two-tier Lido deck is just an awesome space. That is beautiful, especially in the early evening when the sun's setting. Those lights come on. You've got the New York deli there, dive in. You've got the Lido bar. It's just a wonderful area of the ship, whether we've got the Magladome closed or the Magladome's open. And then this is a really cool spot. We have a library again. Those of you who have cruised with Holland America before will know we used to have larger libraries, and we started scaling them back for kind of logistical reasons. They did have to be scaled back slightly, but we listened, and we have now brought back a library on the Rotterdam. And we thought, if we're going to bring a library back, we need to do this in a very modern way. We need to make it work. We need to make it not just a gesture. We need it to be very comprehensive. So what we now have, this is deck 3 forward of the Rotterdam, is a kind of Copenhagen bookshop style library, free to use. All we ask is you return those books at the end of the cruise. But you'll find the latest releases, hardbacks, all hardbacks of the latest releases in every genre. It is very, very cool. So that's on the Rotterdam. We're hoping it rolls out to some of the other ships. We were, when I was on the Rotterdam, sailing the first itinerary that stopped in Half Moon Key for 2 days. So that's me taking my obligatory selfie in Half Moon Key, being one of the first folks to ever be on a ship that stopped in Half Moon Key for 2 days. It is still a slice of paradise. So with the Rotterdam, let's talk about where the ships are going. Let's get into some of these itineraries. So Europe, Holland America, Europe, as I've mentioned before, it's familiar because it's within our history and heritage. We've been going there for a long time. We've got the expertise, we've got relationships that are alive and well to this day with port authorities and maritime authorities in Europe and ports. So we're able to do things thanks to that experience and those relationships. We can leverage that. So it does make it feel like you're cruising and you're with someone who is a local. You know, it's like visiting a friend. You probably heard me say this before, visiting a friend who's moved to a city you're unfamiliar with, and that friend takes you around and gives you the inside scoop like a local. That's what it's like cruising with Holland America, because we have that history, having been headquartered in Europe for many, many years, and now headquartered in North America. We have that kind of duality, that North American Europe duality of thought. So we can deliver an incredible product for a North American mindset that is still legitimately and authentically European as well. So lots of cool ports on the books for 2022, including some of my favorites. Bruges, right here. I love strolling those canals, the Moulay Frites, the chocolate, the Belgian Trappist beers, one of my favorite places. Beautiful, sophisticated Stockholm, and gorgeous Bergen there in Norwegian fjords. And to kick things off, it's not the first cruise in Europe, in Northern Europe in 2022, but it's probably the most important, and that is the naming ceremony, or the naming celebration cruise, as we call it. Princess Marguerite will be the godmother, and she will be the naming ceremony will take place when she officially names Rotterdam on May 29th. So you can be part of this. If you haven't been on one of these naming celebration cruises before, it is magical. I've been fortunate enough to be part of this, part of those several times, and it is a spine-tingling experience, not just on the day of when it happens, but pretty much everywhere the ship goes for the next couple of months, because as we pick up more ports, because our ship Rotterdam, when she's in Northern Europe, she will, as you'll see, she will visit various ports across a number of different itineraries. So every time we arrive at a new port that the ship hasn't been to before, there are marching bands on the dock side. There are dignitaries, award ceremonies, or plaque ceremonies, I should say. It's really exciting. You feel like VIPs rolling into every port, and you can be part of that, whether you choose to actually be on one of the cruises where the naming celebration ceremony happens, or later in the season. So essentially, you can cruise May 22nd or May 28th. Both of those sailings are 14-day, and they will both contain, or they both have that port stop in Rotterdam on May 29th, where we have the ceremony. So they will sell out quickly now. We've announced it. These cruises have been available for about 6 months, but we've only just announced that this is going to be the one with the naming ceremony. So that's when we see the bookings for that cruise go like this, through the roof. It's only been announced just a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to be part of the magic, speak with an Expedia Cruises consultant on those. And then she goes off to do things like the Northern Isles, see the Shetland ponies, visit Edinburgh during the month of August for the Edinburgh Festival, where you can where you can do the #1 top-rated Holland America shore excursion, and that is the Royal Military tattoo in the grounds of Edinburgh Castle, with all the pomp and ceremony and the fireworks. It is our most popular shore excursion, and it sells out quickly. So you do have to book it fast, and it's part of this wonderful mix of the fjords and Iceland and a bit of the British Isles as well, Invergordon for Loch Ness. So that's just one of these sailings that Rotterdam will be doing as in a premier season. She'll do the fjords, the beautiful fjords, all the way up into the land of the midnight sun, up into the North Cape, to Honningsvåg. So lots of variety, and then obviously the classic Baltic, a classic Holland America and classic Northern Europe sailing. So that's 2022. I'm just going to whiz through a couple of other quick itineraries here. Not going to take long, I promise. I just want to share these with you because they are pretty much hot off the press. And that is 23 Europe is now open. So that includes Northern Europe and some very cool itineraries in Northern Europe. Take a look at these. We have not had these combinations before. Baltic with the Northern Isles, Spitsbergen with the British Isles. We're mixing up these combinations. They wouldn't normally have that sequencing, and these are what we call collectors voyages. So what you're doing is essentially putting two cruises together, and when you put two cruises together, you're getting a back-to-back discount. Runs about 5% on these Europe sailings. Your Expedia Cruises consultant can do that for you in a flash. Basically, when you talk with your Expedia Cruises consultant about any Europe voyage, do make sure you ask them, well, what happens with the ship before that sailing? Where's it going afterwards? And they can tell you. And if you like that cruise that comes before and after, they can put them together. For you, it's one seamless experience in the same stateroom. You get that discount, and you've got twice the fun, twice the amount of ports. In the Mediterranean as well, one of my favorite places on earth, there are some very cool things. We have ships that are now again visiting Egypt for those and the Holy Lands, for those also for the pyramids of Giza tours that combine with Istanbul. Some really comprehensive Mediterranean sailing. So that's just kind of a glimpse. And then on the transatlantic side, things get really interesting. So we're combining the Baltic with the transatlantic. We're combining the British Isles with the transatlantic. So you get the time at sea. I love being at sea. It's not for everyone. Not everyone's cup of tea. For me, I love a transatlantic. You feel like you're kind of following in the footsteps, and it's kind of a rite of passage. It's something special about a transatlantic. But to precede it or finish it off with a really comprehensive tour of the British Isles or the Baltic, you get kind of that really nice balance. And then some other types of repositioning. This is what we call the Iberian repositioning. You can go from the Med all the way to the North Cape within one cruise. This is important. These are 2023. Again, speak with your Expedia Cruises consultant about these. These ones are top sellers year in, year out. We have not had this combination before. Again, we have not cruised the northern route, which is the northern transatlantic, which doesn't even feel like a transatlantic because almost every day is a port. There's only a few days at sea. Iceland, Greenland, down into the Maritimes, Newfoundland. When we cruise that, typically in the past, we've come off straight off the back of a Baltic or Norwegian Fjords cruise. We haven't done it this way, where you've gone up to Longyearbyen, up to Spitsbergen, and had that kind of true northern Arctic experience with the crossing. So this is special. When they're put together, it makes a 41-day voyage, a collector's voyage. Again, I think this one's going to sell very quickly, just like its big sister, the Voyage of the Vikings. This is sold out for it's been sold out for 2022 for a long time. It's been off the books, but it's now open for 2023. And we've put it on the Zuidendam, a slightly larger ship. There's more verandas on Zuidendam. If you wanted a balcony before, you had to book a suite. Now you can have a balcony with a regular veranda. So you've got more options. It is a Holland America classic. It sells out quickly year after year. Boston to Boston, Northern Europe and back, with a very, very cool itinerary. So speak with your Expedia Cruise consultant about those if you're interested. So Alaska, I know you're all very, very familiar with Alaska. We've got a few treats for you with Alaska this year, a few tricks up our sleeve. We are Alaska, that's what we say. And it's because we've been doing it for a long time. We are the experts, whether it's the land portion on a cruise tour or cruise only, whether it's cruises out of Seattle, Gulf cruises, as we would call them, or round trip out of Vancouver, whether it's the Yukon, whether it's Denali. We cover so many bases, and we're awarded for it year in, year out. And we've got a dedicated fleet for Alaska. No other cruise line dedicates such a large percentage of ships in their fleet to Alaska and cruising out of the Pacific Northwest. So a big part of this is due to, a big part of our advantage, let's call it, is our Glacier program, Glacier Bay program. And that is because we are given twice the amount of permits as the next cruise line to visit Glacier Bay. And what that means is if you were on, or you were looking at booking a cruise to, let's forget about Alaska for a second. Let's say you were looking to book a cruise anywhere, and there was a particular port that you would like to visit. And there were 3 cruise lines you were looking at. One didn't visit that port. One spent 2 hours in that port, and the other one spent a full day in that port. Which is the one that gives you the most value? It's the one that gives you the full day experience. That's what it means to cruise Alaska with Holland America when it comes to Glacier Bay. We give you multiple glacier viewings. We give you the full day narrated by our naturalists, the park rangers, the Huna speakers, wildlife viewing opportunities. It's a full day. Where other cruise lines are having that 90-minute quick look at the glaciers, then they're back out at sea. And you're paying for that day at sea the same way you would be paying for it if you're in Glacier Bay. You know, your time on board it comes down to a dollar value. You're paying for the cruise, so you want to make the most out of every minute. And if you're in Glacier Bay for the full day, you're getting way more value. And also when you're on board, we've got all that open deck space, so you don't have to fight to look at a glacier. You're not having to climb over a roller coaster or look over the top of bumper cars to see a glacier. We don't do that. We've given you that open deck space. You've got the hot chocolate, the Dutch pea soup, the blankets. It's narrated. You've got the bow to spread out on all that open deck space. Rent a cabana for the Glacier Bay day. Speak with your Expedia Cruises consultant about that. Having your own cabana for the day in Glacier Bay, that's the way to do it. Anyhow, in Vancouver in 2022, there will be a new arrival, and that is the Koningsdam. She is sailing round trip Vancouver every Saturday. She is sister to that brand new ship, the Rotterdam, that I mentioned, and she's our ship sailing every 7 days out of Vancouver. She's not, a one and done kind of twice a season, waiting for a low tide. She sails in now under the Lionsgate Bridge, no problem. She's only 99,000 tons. And so I've just been on board her down in Mexico. This was in December. So I felt like I was on kind of a reconnaissance mission, taking a sneak peek. I'd sailed on her before, but was obviously pre-COVID. So this was the first time sailing on her again, and she is looking gorgeous. You are going to love the Koningsdam. If you have a Koningsdam cruise booked for Alaska this summer, you are in for a treat. She is truly stunning. Pound for pound, she is the most modern, high-tech, beautiful, spacious ship you will see sailing out of Vancouver across any cruise line to Alaska in 2022. So we really want you to come on board. We want to welcome you on board so you can experience her yourself. That's the main stage, world stage shows taking place there. Really cool entertainment. There's some of the dining, the Tamarind there, some of the dining venues, the Tamarind, Rue du Sel de Mer, Canaletto, Club Orange, Music Walk in full swing, Rolling Stone Rock Room, you can see there, BB King's Blues Club. And this is something that doesn't get mentioned even at the moment because we've got so much to talk about. I don't even see it in any of our marketing. We have a new comedy club. And this isn't late night comedy, in some small show lounge at the back of the ship after everyone else has gone to bed for those who want to stay out late, R-rated comedy. It's not that at all. this is prime time comedy, stand up, happening in basically where BB King's Blues Club is. We call it Laughs at BB's. And this is while there's main showroom entertainment happening in the main show lounge. So you could either go to the main show, or you could be in Rolling Stone Rock Room or Billboard on board, whichever one of those two venues is playing at the same time. And while all that's going on, you also have the option of watching one of the stand-up shows that Laughs at BB's. So this is one comedian before the first BB King's All Stars set, so approximately about 8 p.m. And then another one in between their first and second set, so approximately around 9:30, 10 p.m. And this is awesome. It was great to see the lounge packed when I was on board, everyone enjoying the comedy. So two different comedians, and they're performing throughout the cruise. So just another layer of entertainment that you might not have heard about. So that'll be on board Koningsdam, Laughs at BB's. Also, we have our wine blending venue, so you can blend your own wine and get to put your own label on that wine and give it your own name. You could call it, Chateau Julie or Pinot Paul, whatever you like. And it's funny when I'm at dinner with guests on board and they've just come from blend and they've blended their own wine, they bring it to the table. They always say how their wine tasted better than everybody else's. It's funny that everyone likes their own blend, but you can do that on board. It's a lot of fun. And speaking of beverages, on board Koningsdam, out of Vancouver again, you've got the Scotch tasting bar Notes. If you have someone sailing with you who likes their grains, or you do. Also, a very expansive, probably the biggest and deepest wine cellar at sea, so out of Vancouver on any vessel, across any line in 2022 in the Pinnacle Grill wine cellar. Very, very cool. Rue du Sel de Mer, a new seafood brasserie. The Grand Dutch Cafe, so many great spots. The dining room is just such a beautiful open space as well. So there you have it. One part I don't think I did mention is that when it comes to Juneau, we're docked downtown Juneau. We're docked in berths 1 and 2. And that means you have direct access, I should say not direct access, but you have quicker access to downtown. You're literally steps away. When you step off the Koningsdam, you're in downtown Juneau, whether you're going on a short excursion, to walk around the shops, the restaurants, the bars, it's right there. You're at the foot of Mount Roberts Tramway. Those other cruise lines will either dock in berths 3 and 4, or all the way down at the container port, where you have to take a shuttle to come in. It's, probably by the time you're downtown, 30 minutes have been used up at the beginning and the end of the day. So you've got that great value being downtown in Juneau when you're with us in Alaska. There are a couple of longer cruises in Alaska as well. These two here, they're selling out. Well, not selling out, but they're booking up very quickly because of the nature of them being longer, more immersive, all the way into Cook's Inlet and Anchorage. So look out for those. And just a quick word about Alaska. Right now through February 28th, we have a special offer as part of our wave season, which is our kind of January, February promotion period, where we have some extras. There's the free White Pass Railway excursion, which is the most popular excursion in Alaska, out of Skagway. It's included if you're booking with our Have It All pricing through February 28th. Speak with the Expedia Cruises team about that. And two last slides here. Not Alaska, not Europe, but I have to show you because these are hot off the press, and I'll regret it if I didn't. This has just been released. The big one. It has been much anticipated. Our Grand Africa voyage is now open. Round trip Fort Lauderdale, October 10th, 2023. Speak with the team about this. It is on the Zuiderdam. It is a true bucket list. Overnights in Mozambique, in Cape Town. You can do your safaris there. It's just an incredible experience. And also this, the 24-day Grand Australia and New Zealand voyage. So just to wrap up in closing, when you speak with your Expedia Cruises consultant and you're looking at the various cruises and options when it comes to booking, you now have the option to preload that cruise with the amenities that you would purchase on board, but preload it with them for half the cost. So you can essentially have a shore excursion credit, a drink package, a specialty dining option, and included Wi-Fi, all for half of what it would cost to purchase those on board. You can preload it. It's called Have It All. It adds approximately $55 per day per person to a sailing. To do this, the longer the cruise, you get more of the short excursion credits, more of the dining. Speak with the team about this. Also, that ultimate, the Alaska White Pass Railroad is part of this up until February 28th. We call it the Ultimate Upgrade event. Some extra special pricing included in this, some extra reductions on the deposit as well. So do speak with the team about that. And then just for being here today, there are some other extras as well. Everything I've mentioned, but some extra shipboard credits. So the Expedia Cruises Edmonton group and Holland America are working together in lockstep to give you extra shipboard credits. They apply pretty much to any sailing that's 7 days or longer, and doesn't apply to those 2 grand voyages, but applies to everything else we looked at. If you book before February 28th, you get an extra spending money, extra shipboard credits to use on board, and that combines with Have It All that I just mentioned, the beverage package, dining package, those things. Your Expedia Cruises consultant is also able to find the value for you, whether it is booking with Have It All. They also have access to things called Expedia exclusive staterooms. These are benefits that essentially we're able to pass on to Expedia Cruises because of Expedia Cruises' economy of scale and the power of their network. They're able to receive benefits from Holland America to pass directly on to you. So you're going to get a much better deal working with Expedia Cruises than you would booking with Holland America directly. Any day of the week, you've got the best deal working with your Expedia Cruises consultant. And it's not just that they have the best deals, they also have the knowledge and the expertise, especially right now. I mean, we've seen how confusing things can get. Even though everyone's, well, not everyone, but hopefully you will soon, a lot of folks are out there traveling again. It's easily doable, but it can be confusing if you don't have an expert or someone who's doing it day to day to help you with it. And that's where the Expedia Cruises team really come into play, because they know exactly what it takes to get you out there back on a ship again. And they are a real person in your community. It's not like when you pick up the phone, it's someone 1,000 miles away in a call center. They're a real person in your community who can help you out in a pinch, phone call, email, you name it. So that's one of the other reasons why you should definitely be working with them. So that's it from me. I know I've ran probably a bit long, but once you get me started, sometimes there's no stopping me. So let's have a look to see if there are any questions, Lisa.
There are some questions. Thank you, Tom. That was phenomenal. And it was very interesting when you said the staff on board, and truly walking onto a ship, the staff, it's like they're finding old friends. They are so happy to serve and so happy to welcome. So glad you brought that up. And lovely, lovely itineraries that you have and you shared with us, and the wonderful things that we can do on the ship. So there are a couple questions. First question was regarding food allergies. How do you deal? Do you cater to special, menus in terms of like gluten-free, lactose, food allergies?
We certainly do. So we cater to various dietary requirements and allergies. So this is something that can be pre-arranged beforehand, and I'm sure, Lisa, you're very aware of and knowledgeable on how to do this. But essentially, your Expedia Cruises consultant can work with our ship services team. We have a team that basically are kind of the glue between you and your travel advisor and the dining room on board. They basically will be able to have all of those dietary requirements or any allergies noted. So there'll always be options for you that are created in many cases just for you based on your needs. So no problem at all.
Okay, perfect. Another question, and obviously there's some people that are watching this and thinking, you know what, I think I want to get away. Winter's been long. So if somebody wanted a last minute Caribbean or Mexico cruise, is there still availability on the ships?
There is, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there is about. I mean, there might be some sailings where where some categories have closed out already. We might not have any interiors left on one sailing or ocean views, but for the most part, yeah, there's still space available. Um, yeah, if you you're feeling spontaneous, go for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
and
there's deals
definitely,
out there.
definitely call our consultants because we can help you on that. I noticed you had 2023. Are all your bookings open into 2023? You showed us a lot of Europe. Are
Pretty
all
much.
destinations?
I think the only thing we're waiting for now is the Australia and Asia season 23 into 24. Everything
Okay.
else is pretty much there. We've got Europe, Alaska, Canada, New England. The Canada, New England itineraries are very cool, up to Iceland in some cases. But yeah, it's just that winter season over 23 into 24 out in the Pacific waiting on.
And if people book far enough in advance, you can book refundable deposits, so there is no risk, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And look out for when you do see those new releases. If you're thinking of something and it's not available yet, stay in touch with your Expedia Cruises consultant because we've got a new program now. If you're a Holland American mariner, we have a 90-day mariner shipboard credit special. That means, let's say Australia 23 to 24 opens. For the first 90 days from the day it opens, if you book and you're a mariner, you get some extra shipboard credit. So it's a way to thank you for booking with us early.
All right, wonderful. And talking on that line, I think I always say to our clients, give us your wish list. Tell us where you want to go because there are seasons, and let us know because once something opens, if you tell us you want to do Europe 2023 or Australia 2024, let us know, and as soon as it opens up, we can let you know that.
Exactly.
There is a question, Tom, on solo travelers.
Okay.
How does Holland America single supplements? I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you deal with it. Are there also single rooms on ships?
There are. So it's kind of good news, bad news. Well, I shouldn't say bad news, but it's in terms of the concessions we can help you with to make it more economical for you as a solo traveler. We have those in single staterooms, single ocean view staterooms. So single occupancy staterooms. They're category 0 or OO.
Oh.
Is OO? Yes. And those staterooms are designed for. They're not really any smaller than a regular ocean view stateroom, but we've just set the kind of furniture and furnishings up for a single occupant, and they provide the best rate and best price option for someone who wants to travel by themselves, or maybe they're part of a wider group, but just that they're occupying the stateroom by themselves. That provides the best price point for someone who is looking to have a window, a view, because they are the lowest category of ocean view. But if you are just price driven and you're looking to get the best rate on the ship as a solo traveler, then still book the minimum interior. The minimum interior with the single supplement added on is still going to be your best bet. But if there are any solo specials that come along, the team will know about them and they'll be able to help.
Okay, excellent. Let's switch to kids programs.
Kids programs. I'm a big fan of our kids program because it means I get to enjoy the day with my wife and the kids can be up on board, up in Clubhouse. So yeah, it's awesome. It's if you look at a Holland America ship and you look in the midsection and you look at the kind of top deck in the midsection, that entire space is that entire deck area is called Club Hal. It's divided into 3 areas for the age groups, various age groups from the small kids, the tweens, and then the teens, and they've got all sorts of cool stuff. We haven't just got a bunch of video screens for them, a bunch of video consoles, even though we do have that. We've got some really cool things. We've got even a whole room. It's called High Score. We've got pinball, foosball, So after hours, there's a family hour where you can go up there and show them, kind of kick some buttons, show them who's actually best at foosball. The parents, the grandparents, not the kids. So you can kind of join them sometime. But we've got a full program. And as a parent myself, I like my kids being one of 100 and one of 1,000 on board. So on Holland America, you won't see 1,000 kids, 2,000 kids. In peak season Alaska, when the school's out, you might see 100 or 200, sometimes a few more. But sometimes you don't even see them. You'll think, well, where are they? I've heard there are kids on board. It's because they're all upstairs in Clubhouse. So it is a great program.
Perfect. There is a question about your Have It All program. So we know it includes shore excursion, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, and beverage. Question is, why not gratuities? And is there any talk of maybe adding gratuities at some point to the Have It All package?
Why not gratuities? Essentially, it was decided on when we created that package. We basically looked at what were the 4 most frequently purchased amenities, and then we also did a lot of surveys of mariners, and that's how it was decided upon. In terms of the gratuities, can you have the gratuities? Sometimes there will be promotions where gratuities are included from time to time on certain destinations. So yeah, you may see that from time to time, but you can't have them added to have it all. That's still something separate.
And there's definitely great value in the shore excursions, the beverage package, the dining, and the Wi-Fi. So
yes.
All right, I think that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you, Tom, for giving us a wonderful look at what Holland America adds to our life. Travel is starting, everybody, and whether you want to go away in 2022, 2023, even 2024, cruise lines and tour operators have flexible booking policies, so there is no risk in your investment. I think we've all lost 2 years, and there is a pent-up demand. And as things open up, we are already seeing certain sailings starting to sail out. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your past travels. We look forward to helping you with your future travel plans. Please reach out to your consultant with any questions and let us start helping you plan your next vacation. Reminder to follow us on Facebook. Also, this and all our travel talks are recorded on our YouTube channel. So if you had to miss one, or you can't make one, or you just say, I want to see what they did in the past, you can go on to that. In 2 weeks, we will be meeting again for our Thursday travel talk, and we will be featuring Oceania cruises and worldwide cruise destinations. So thank you, everybody. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you again. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.